an executive to the application security Phoenix platform. So we're going to focus on an executive view and what the normal day-to-day will look like in an application security Phoenix platform. As an executive, what I fundamentally want to know is, am I above or below my expectation or my risk tolerance or my risk threshold? And in this particular case, the organization is. And immediately after, what I would like to know is, well, maybe where is this problem coming from, or what is the category of issue that is coming from? And all these dials are fundamentally communicating and telling me fundamentally where the risk is coming from. So in this particular case, from SCA, software composition analysis, or FOSS, or in this particular case, also static code analysis or static application security testing is causing me pain. And as an executive, my business perspective, my view on cybersecurity is very business. So probably what I want to look at is what are the applications that are causing me pain, and what is my overall level, what is the application that are most likely going to cause me most pain. And with this view or sunburst view, we can quickly identify the application with the biggest severity, but also the biggest criticality. So how important the application is and has, and then how much damage is gonna cause. And we can see later how to set up this information up. And then if I want to explore more, I'm gonna look into the heat map. The heat map is fundamentally communicating me similar information as a sunburst, but then is more explorable because I can see the various subcomponents in a more detailed level, and I can see which is the application that could potentially cause me more pain, is the one that has the biggest block size, and the one that is potentially more towards the hue. So this particular one is the one with the most elevated risk, but on the other side, this one is the one with the biggest block size. And as an executive, what I want to do is push the organization lower and lower to improve the risk posture. So I want to be able to set effectively a risk level. What that does effectively is creating a level of information or selecting all the applications that are above or below threshold by calculating and recalculating the risk. And from an executive perspective, that will effectively drive a program. But then what that means is how do we, as developer, and now I'm switching my head as a developer, how is this changing the perspective? So fundamentally, every time somebody links or an executive fundamentally reviews the risk threshold, the organization or the application effectively will have a number of vulnerabilities selected based on the priority, based on the exposure level, based on a number of factors. And so as a developer or as a developer that needs to fix potentially a bug, you have a prioritized list of issues that then you can review or push automatically to Jira with just a one click. And you can have them in your backlog with all the detail, for example, on the resolution of what is the problem and the detail. And if you consider those as a false positive, you can mark it as a false positive, and then the security professional will review the false positive and approve it or deny. But fundamentally, you have a prioritized list of issue that you have to solve to make that executive happy or to effectively resolve the specific application issues. In this particular case, the application is below threshold, hence you don't have information around the number of issues. So this application is within risk tolerance, despite the fact of having just one critical. So you might want to look at the one critical, but it's not absolutely critical. And this is about it. So you fundamentally have integration with cloud vulnerability and aggregating cloud vulnerabilities, free and open source software or software composition analysis, and web vulnerabilities. And you can look at the detail, and then if you're a developer, or if you're more towards the security research, you can look at the detail on how some of the risk has been calculated and some more detail about the vulnerability. So these are the information on how the specific vulnerability has been calculated, or the base has been calculated. And then if you want to look into the specific of the CV, then you can look into these details. And also for the web vulnerability, you can look at the compliance aspect, as well as if there is any other application that has potentially the same issue, so you can collaborate. But the idea is fundamentally, again, just going back to the original page, to set overall threshold and having those information executed, or the vulnerability selected for you. Now, let's see how easy it is to effectively configure an application. So once you go in the application screen, you can specify effectively who is accountable and responsible, as well as your level of criticality. So that gives you a level of granularity on defining how much is business critical. If it's a crown jewel, probably you want to look at 10s. If it's a low end, you probably want to go in the low. And then you can specify a value of how much revenue is this generating over year on year in terms of pounds. And if you want, you can go back to the organization setting and specify effectively your the value of the value that you want this application to be. And eventually, you can also specify some tags if I don't have a lot of fantasy, but you can specify if this is production and so on, and you can search later on. And you can link the project to Jira. So you can link the project to Jira if you have configured workflow. Once you have defined an application, you fundamentally want to define the component that makes this application. Those could be repositories, those could be libraries, those could be website, and you fundamentally can link it to existing elements or to existing scans from the partner's scanner. Well, let's see how easy it is to fundamentally create a scanner integration. So this is, for example, NetSpark. You fundamentally just have the user ID and the token ID, or if we want, for example, for DOM9, you fundamentally have to specify the API and the API keys and the secret keys. And that's about it. Jira works more or less similar when you specify your username and access token and your server URL. I hope you enjoyed the video and it was informational, and I wish you stay safe with AppSec Phoenix.